What is up, everybody? A little bit of a different opening. I usually start with a video, but I today am going to show you the videos I promised last time. I did share them in my Discord because I couldn't share them in the YouTube community page like I wanted to. So, long story short, if you were able to see them there, I put a clip together of an entire video. It's uploading to YouTube, so it's going to take a couple minutes. But while we wait for some people to get in here, or for anyone to get in here, Sandy breaks done in 3. Well, hopefully it's not too expensive. I know everything's so expensive now. It's kind of crazy, but what are you going to do? I got the lifetime. I always get the lifetime breaks. Then you just take the box back or whatever. Actually, they have you in the system in there, and you get new brake pads. You just walk in. They're a little bit more upfront, but it works pretty well. So as we wait for a couple of PA people are coming in. What's up, Jill, just Deb, Danielle, Julian? How's everyone doing? A couple things came out today. I mean, it's Delphi, right? So there's like documents. Something every day has been happening. And today there was a bunch of I went through some of them, and I've told you before with the law and the legal stuff, I don't understand quite a bit of that. But I did see the Baston name. I talked about him before. This guy's in prison, convicted, okay? And you could read what he did. I think it's Mark Baston is the name, Baston. He's been convicted. You read what he did. That guy is a piece of shit. Absolute scum of the earth human being, should be locked under the jail. This guy's convicted, right? We're not going to say this about Richard Allen right now because he's not convicted. This guy's convicted, okay? This guy tried to get out because of COVID. Not because he was worried about getting it, but because he was going to help cure it. I shit you not. Just read his crime. You could read it. Look up his name and all that stuff. You could read all kind of stuff in there. There's no kind of redactions or anything. I warn you that it is very graphic to read. I wouldn't read it here, and I wouldn't, want to share it up on here on a live, but go read what he did at a pool party to a little girl. Then he wanted out because of COVID. He was going to help cure COVID, is what this lunatic said. This monster, this just dreg of society. This is what he said. And then next opportunity, Richard Allen. I'm going to jump on this train. So as an attorney, you would think that if I'm going to use someone that's so reprehensible, he's convicted. There's no questions, no appeals. This dude's convicted. He's guilty as the day is long. If I'm going to use this horrible human being, I better have a ton of evidence. Well, there is no evidence. It's just this guy's letter. It's this guy's letter is what he's saying. So that kind of came out today. I did understand that. I've seen that letter. I've seen that letter before. I don't know if it was something that I shouldn't have had, but I've seen that before. When I can't remember if I saw the actual handwritten letter, if I saw it typed. But I know I've read that. We've talked about that. So I was kind of confused on that. Maybe I'm wrong. But I'm not wrong about him, the human being. So take Delphi away from him and look at this guy that's been adjudicated. Read what he did. It's very, very graphic. It's horrible. So if you don't want to read it, you can take my word. He's in prison. He's not getting out. So prisoners have rights. I know sometimes they get violated. You would hope that you hope it's a rare circumstance that they get violated. But in the rare circumstances that they do get violated, you would hope that someone like this would be the person that gets violated. Okay. And I'm not really like that to attack people anywhere. This is a vile human being. Doesn't mean he's a liar. I'll give you that. But if you put up all his other shit, I need out of jail because he's going to help solve COVID. This guy's going to help solve COVID. Well, we didn't let him out of jail and COVID's still around. But I think those two things are coincidences. Say hi to some more people that came in. I think my video is just about uploaded here. It's a really good channel. And I was telling you the guy's name is Justin Herbert because it made me think of the quarterback for the Chargers. His name's Jason Herbert and Mr. Grotto. So as that video goes up, anyways, on the Baston thing, I'll leave it at that. I don't want to show anything. I don't want to talk about that guy any more than we have to, because he's reprehensible, absolutely reprehensible. What's up, Jamie Hicks? Art of Deduction. What's up, Frank? Julianne. Oh, I said hi. Wait a minute. I called you Julian. It is Julianne. I apologize. I don't know if guys or girls or who people are. I talk to people on Discord and I meet them and I know them from YouTube, but I don't even know if this is a man or a woman. So I don't know any of the behind the scenes people stuff. Yeah, the Baston guy, he's just a horrible human being. I mean, he's beyond reprehensible. But anyways, when that video is uploading, the next thing I want to talk about real quick is the leaks of the pictures of the crime scenes that the creators got and those different things. Setting aside other things, which I believe the F tree, put that aside right now. The F tree. I think I know what happened there, but I'm not sure. I'm not even positive about what I'm going to tell you. But what I'm going to give you an opportunity here to see with the filings that were made in court. These are sworn statements in court that unless David Hennessy, the Indianapolis super attorney that Baldwin contracted to represent him, and Baldwin is no dummy. He got a really good attorney in Hennessy. He came down and he filed some court work, some paperwork. And Mitch Westerman filed some paperwork. Mitch Westerman, could he be always telling the truth? Hey, we could be swimming in the right direction there. I'm not going to say that guy is a saint by any stretch of the imagination. But both of the documents say the same, point to the same thing. One of them is an admission from Baldwin that, yes, the leaks came from me. And then the other one's admission, or, Westerman, yeah, I did this and I took pictures. And, other people said, I have not seen the pictures. I think people have shared enough of the pictures or sketches or animations. I don't even know what the term would be of the picture to get the point of what it was. And, talking to people that have seen the pictures, and I trust their judgment. And some of them are, believed Richard Allen's guilt even more than I do. And they say to me, Kev, that they just weren't there. Something, I don't know what, but something's up. So I tend to lean that way. Not having seen them myself, probably will never see them, because like I said, when they have open court, you're not going to see these pictures on TV. You can watch other hearings and stuff and see stuff like that. But anyways, let me show you these files that they have presented in court and argued in court, and two good attorneys. And again, Baldwin, I mean, maybe he made a mistake. You're supposed to keep files safe. I haven't made my vision up on Baldwin yet. I haven't. He's not a dumb guy. There's no way in the world that he's a dumb guy. I'm just checking here to make sure, because you guys know how technology advanced I am, right? I want to make sure we're on a thing. Okay, good. I'm going to blow this up. I'm like Barney Rubble, like I told you guys. So here's a couple of things that were filed by the court. All right. I even figured out how to move it. Look at that. Just call me Elon Musk if you have to. Okay, so this is a filing from attorney David Hennessy. So I'm going to show you here in a second with his name at the bottom. Basically admitting that the leak came from attorney Baldwin. I mean, there's no question here, unless Baldwin lied to Hennessy and Hennessy's lying in court, right? The crime scene photos of the girls, graphic photos is what I'm talking about here. All right. So there's people that are saying that this all came from the prosecution. Well, in order to believe that, okay, let's say it came from the prosecution. I'll play ball with you. If it came from the prosecution, then all these people would have to be lying in open court, including Baldwin, who made a statement to his attorney. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I know what I did. That made a statement like this to his attorney, a good attorney, who says, hey, listen, this came from our side. We're sorry. We're going to keep this in a locked box, you know, a fireproof box. This was the Mitch Westerman thing. Took pictures on a conference room table. I got to be honest with you. I believe Baldwin more than I believe Mitch Westerman. I never met either. I'm just basing it on what I know of them, and maybe that's ignorant of me. That certainly is possible. And this was, I wanted to show you this too. This was today, that mandamus thing. I'm going to watch, as I always do, I'm going to watch the prosecutors podcast, and I'm going to watch the Defense Diaries podcast. And they're 4 highly intelligent people. And one show is going to say one thing, and one show is going to say another thing. But they're both going to say certain things that are the same, like in the middle. These things are mortal facts. You know, you could follow these things. But when we pontificate out here on the sides, then that's when we get going at each other. And that's fantastic viewing, and that's fantastic entertainment. Also, I have a note here. My man Ruckus is going live at 6 p.m. So if you want to watch Ruckus do what he wants, as he always says, 6 p.m. tonight on his channel. So anyways, this was the filing. This is today, November 16th. Supplemental record must be submitted. So as far as I know, I don't think there was anything. This was after they asked for like a little bit of an extension. Today was the day everything should have been turned over. Unless I'm incorrect on that. I got all these docs from the doc dude, Frank Meister, from his pages, his Facebook and his YouTube community pages, the guy to go to for documents. But so, I mean, I'm going to get back with the chat here. My video is uploaded too. So I hear people saying, you know, well, this is the prosecution leaked these crime scene. We have proof of it. Well, if you have proof of it, David Hennessy and Baldwin are going to be charged with perjury, right? Baldwin ain't perjuring himself. I think, and I don't know the legalese, but the more I'm gathering, I think that he was smart in the back room, and he may prove to be wise for what he did, even if he did resign verbally in the back. And even if that's considered, that's fine. You don't need to file anything. If you do it here and you do it to a judge's face, it's okay to do it, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if those are both facts, but let's pretend that they are. Somehow, some way, he's not dumb in this. He's not. But the leaks came from the defense, these leaks. Now, if you want to go back, Mike Thomas, you want to talk early on, I don't know a lot about that. I'm watching shows that are talking about it, and it's very interesting. I know there's Mike Thomas champions. He was just the other guy that was running, and I get it. And in the debate, they show a video of a debate. And Mike Thomas looks really good, and Tony Liggett looks like he's never talked in a microphone in his life, and he's paranoid. And if you're in the body language, I mean, you could almost see his heart beating out of his chest, and he's like, oh, he's doing like the turn. I'm turning into an android. And Mike Thomas is up there, and he's making great motions, and he's moving his arms distinctly, and there's no rigid, it's just, and people are eating it up. So I get it when people want Mike Thomas. Maybe he would have been better, possibly, but was he right for what he did? Or do we know what he did? I know recently a creator that talked to a detective, Holman, about another unrelated issue, but it was related to the leaks, but it was kind of on the periphery of it. And he had talked, he's like, if you hear anything else about any other leaks at any point during the case, and this creator said, well, you mean like early on, like from police? And the guy's like, what do you mean? And he said, well, there's been rumors of Mike Thomas. And then the investigator said, well, if you hear anything about that, will you please let me know? So didn't say that it was a valid thing, didn't say they were investigating it, certainly didn't brush it off. So instead of making Mike Thomas look guilty or anything like that, the reason I said that is for all the people who say, they're not looking at this, they're looking at everything. Now they fucked some shit up. Absolutely. I think they did. I think they fucked some shit up early on. And I think they fucked up media-wise. They could have used the media a lot more than they did. And they used it incorrectly. In my opinion, was the FBI pulling the strings? Was Carol? Who knows? We might never know that story, but what a book that would make. After this is done, and whoever did it, Richard Allen or whoever did it, whoever else did it, is in jail 20 years from now, the story of how the investigation unfolded and who really screwed up. And if they would have came out early on and been men about it, and not just because they're guys, women could be men too. Please understand what I'm saying. Stand up, be a man about it, be a person. Hey, early on, look, we fucked this up. Was evidence driven, a van driven off or a SUV driven off with evidence on the roof? Was there another incident of that where the evidence might have been left on the roof on purpose? These things have all been talked about. I've heard them early on. No proof of any of them. But I tell you what, everything that early on we've heard, this is a rumor, this is a rumor, this is a rumor. Oh, it's bullshit, it's bullshit. It sounds too crazy. Through one means or another, these things are being verified to one degree or another. So it might not be the whole big blown thing that we heard, but there is a kernel of truth to it all. And again, I'll go back and I'll say this again. There's a chance that everybody is kind of right in this story. Richard Allen, people to think he's guilty, people to think he's innocent. There could be a happy medium in this case. It really could be, because maybe he isn't Bridge Guy. Maybe it's someone else. Maybe there's other accomplices. Maybe the cops didn't cover shit up, but they just fucked up. They were just inept in a certain couple things. So those things are the same things. The football was dropped, whether it was dropped on purpose or whether it was dropped accidentally. In the end of the day, hopefully, and I don't think it'll ever happen, unfortunately, but everyone could kind of come together and be like, I see where you were coming from. Now you see where I were coming from. And now we see exactly what happened. And the middle, it was kind of in the middle of everything. And the more we see that, I think kind of the cooler the better. Let me answer some questions. Video is uploaded, and I'd like to show it to you. It's about 8 minutes long, and it's these two guys interviewing Anna Williams. It was, I believe, 2 years after the murder. So that puts us, 2019? But you know what? Ron Logan isn't Bridge Guy, in my opinion. I've read things, nothing verifiable by the girlfriend that took care of him at the end of his life when he had COVID. And he was mean as shit to her. I believe he had hit her. And this lady must have been like an angel. And she went to him at the end of life and said, hey, I'll take care of you. She said at 2017, again, I can't verify this. I didn't talk to this lady, but she said he wasn't even crossing that bridge anymore. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he couldn't physically do it. I don't know if it was a heights thing or not, or what it was, because you see him get down the hill, as he says, easy with that reporter. But I've read that a long time ago, and I've kind of run with that. But I don't know if there's something involved with him after. It's strange. It's so strange. They obviously thought he did it. The FBI thought he did it or was involved. 100% early on. Everyone keeps saying, hey, this case is going to be quick. It's going to be quick. It's going to be quick. Who did they think did it? It's going to be quick. Was it Ron Logan? Was that who they thought it was? And it's going to be quick. It's going to be quick. You know what I mean? You heard all these people say that at the very beginning. So I don't know. I think Allen's involved. I think he certainly is in play, but I don't think he's in alone. Maybe he commits the crime alone and people help after, but it's all too bizarre. It is. And so I'm not going to rule him and about 5 or 6 other people out that I think might have helped cover after. And I'm not going to say their names. We shouldn't say his probably either, but they're still alive. And I don't believe it's any of the Odinists myself, personally. Yeah, something. I mean, I think we could all agree on that. I hope everyone could agree on that. I don't think anyone's that hard line pro police where they're like, they did nothing wrong. This is an older one. I'm sorry, this account. This was from Hennessy. This is whenever Baldwin retained Hennessy as an attorney to represent him in court. And then the judge got an attorney and all this other shit that no one's ever seen before seems to be happening. And these good attorneys are saying this. This is the prosecutors and the defense diaries. Again, watch them both. They're two sides. But they're both saying, like, this is some wild shit. Now, why is it wild? They go off on different, roads than that point. But I really encourage everyone to go check them out. Zuckerberg. There you go. Yeah, because I knew how to do that. Wait till I try to play this video. I hope I didn't just jinx myself. I don't know if Jinx is in here. Every time I see her in chat, I just type, hi, Jinx. All right. Yeah. I understand attorneys do that, and you might very well be right. I would hope not. You know, that like the human in you would hope that someone really wouldn't use this crime. Not that you should use any crime. Maybe you have a big drug case, you know, worth millions of dollars and all just kilos of cocaine or something. Do it there. But I hope not. And I can't get a read on Baldwin. I know Baldwin likes attention, but who I can't get a read on at all is Rozzy. I got no read on that dude whatsoever. That guy, if that guy plays poker against you, he's going to kick your ass. Hypocrite was so quick to proclaim innocence if they're a child or family member. Yeah, that's hard too. And that's got to be hard for the families. And they talk about that. They do. They talk about that. That's got to be really hard for them. But anyways, I'm getting in here to talk. And I want to show you these videos. Frank's in the house. I was talking about you, Frank, in a positive way. Frank's Colts with the big win last weekend, along with my Steelers. Frank, I called you the doc dude. If you want to use that and put that on shirts, I'll sign it off to you. The doc dude. How about that? Yes, the community was safe was a mistake. The Amber Alert thing, and that's explained. I think I shared that interview. Actually, Anna shared. I don't know if I have it in this clip or not, but she said they thought the girls ran off somewhere. She didn't say who they were with. And, you know, the vehicle info, that's not always true, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen. The girls were found dead. So I don't think that they're covering up for the Amber Alert by saying the time of death. I think eventually they're going to have to prove that exact time, and they can do that. I mean, it doesn't matter. It can, you know, they're less than 24 hours old. The cold, the heat, you know, the heat breaks it down faster, but they're going to be able to tell, hey, this one had passed away at this time, or, you know, they're pretty spot on it. So the fact that they keep hammering that home, I assume that time was good, 3:30, 4 o'clock. I haven't seen anything official. Again, we haven't seen a discovery yet. I assume it's all turned over, but I don't know. The deadline was November 1st. There was new attorneys. I haven't seen any motions that go back and forth with that. Baldwin did work with Ronald Logan. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I remember Jason Jensen. I saw him quite a few times on different people's shows, and he's a PI, powerful PI. Yeah, July of this year he did, you know. Yeah. Powerful attorney, man. Get a driver, get an Uber, you know. I agree with you 100%. I don't think people, from what I could tell too, going back and looking at old interviews when they interview people on the street, I don't think people bought that they were safe either. I just watched one the other day where there was like a guy was talking about his daughter. Jinx is here. She heard me. Hi, Jinx. One word. Hi, Jinx. There she is. Yeah, I mean, it's a fact that money's being made on this case on many different levels. And hey, you know what? Morally, maybe you feel a certain way, but it's America. The only people that I would never feel bad for making money off this case, however that would be the families of Abby and Libby. I don't give a fuck. They can do whatever they want to do, in my opinion. You know what I mean? And to make money off this case. And listen, if Richard Allen is proven not guilty and there's some smoking gun evidence that wasn't in a Frank's motion that we haven't seen yet, and he walks, then the state of Indiana probably owes him some money, you know, in a situation like that. I wouldn't have an issue with that. If someone walks away, or, you know, even if these people that were in this Frank's motion are able to 100% solidly prove, which I think they have already, in my opinion, but even go further, and can you sue an attorney for that? Well, they are not my favorite human beings, but under the legal process, if they can sue, then sue. But I have no problem with the families if they were to do things for whatever, and whatever they want to do with the money. They want to donate it somewhere. Whatever they want to do, it'd be up to them. No, Chris, there's stuff today. Frank, go to Frank's channel, Frank Meister. He has it in his community page, and I think on his Facebook page. I didn't share it. The thing that I'm pretty sure, Frank could correct me if I'm wrong, that was delivered was the letter It was opened up. There was a letter from that Baston guy, and so there was a couple other motions, and Frank could speak to it better than me. I was waiting for someone tonight. I don't know if Ruckus is going to talk about that or not, or if whoever's going to talk about it. But it sounded like they granted the writ of mandamus. It sounded like they granted the writ of mandamus, which, believe me, I couldn't explain a whole lot about that. Cases at a halt. So, okay, so that kind of would explain that then. I think if the writ of mandamus is held up like it is, then they have to rule on this other shit. One of the theories from attorneys was this case was going to continue on parallel to the Supreme Court stuff until the Supreme Court made a ruling. But I guess they're saying, hey, but again, I'm not a legal guy at all. Yeah. Well, I mean, the prosecution could have known that document was going to drop, and he could be getting stuff from them. I don't know. I'm not saying he is. I don't really watch his channel, so I don't really know like what he says or anything. Or maybe the family knows. I don't know how much they know. But when I play these videos for you, which I'm going to do right now, Anna Williams says some things, and I'm not saying that it is impossible that she could be wrong. And I'm not saying that it's impossible that law enforcement would lie to a family, even purposefully, for a reason. And even if they're not being suspected, it's strange. But it does happen. And there's certain things that happens because they might be looking at something that family member knows. And then, hey, maybe, if I tip my hat to them, I don't want to do that. But let you read it and let you or listen to it and watch it and tell me what you think. So I'm going to go here to my page, open her up. There's us talking right now. Here we go. So I strung together a few segments. And again, Jason Herbert, I'm sorry I said Justin last time. Tremendous channel. Highly recommend for everyone to check out.
Just for the sake of thoroughness, but you might not want to answer, particularly because it.
Okay, we're up and we're running. I'm going to blow this up and let this kind of roll through from segment to segment. We could talk real fast. I'm watching the chat here in my on my phone. This again is roughly 2019.
Involves someone young, but someone asked about Abby's boyfriend.
Oh, yes, there was a young man that apparently she was seeing, much like the Facebook thing. Apparently, there was a young man from school that she contacted with him. Been hanging out a little bit. Since young man.
I added anything that pops up letter-wise. I don't want you to think that they did it in case it's something controversial or something. So anything that pops up is my edit.
Has moved on reasonably well, has a very good career in life, has chosen a very good path. He was a little bit older, and
I was gonna say he must have been, yeah.
Not by much. So literally, Abby would have been 17. But at this point, he was at least a grade, if not a grade, and then a little bit older than that if he was a late start birthday. I think he was. As far as where the birthdays fall and when you can start school. His family's doing well. His family's doing well, and I remember standing in a large chain store looking at stove with my significant other, and out of the middle of nowhere he says, I hope she got her first kiss. And I was like, I beg your pardon. He was like, she was a good kid. I hope she at least got some of the first. I was like, no, they held hands and stayed 6 feet apart the rest of the time, because I will not have any of this. But in my heart of hearts, he cared about her in the time that they knew each other, and family experienced a difficult time because of what had happened here, because of like, but and he moving.
Just for this answer, particularly because it involves someone young, but someone Abby's boyfriend.
Oh yes, there was a young man that apparently.
Okay, so that was that one. So again, that was Logan Holder. It looks like I looped this video twice in the same thing, so hopefully I didn't make the whole thing here. But again, we heard Westfall in his interview say, no, that wasn't the case. They never seen each other. So obviously they hung out with each other, which was expected. I mean, who wouldn't expect two kids of that age that were boyfriend and girlfriend that were online? Of course they're going to hang out together. So I thought that when he had that interview on Sleuth's channel right away. Let me see what this one is.
Okay, so there's always DNA in every crime scene. This is what Holman is reported of saying. The girls stayed overnight at Mike and Becky's house. All of those clothes are washed in the same washer and dryer. They've been in contact with people. If I was to be in the same presence with these gentlemen today, there's a good chance we'd be sitting in the same area to where something I've touched has touched them, or I've touched them in a way that my DNA is going to be there, whether I had something to do with a crime or not. And what we have to remember is what belongs and what doesn't. Because they did the DNA at our house. They did the DNA at Mike and Becky's house. They took very close family and friends DNA because anything that was reasonable was dismissed. And they're looking for the thing that doesn't belong. And that is the best answer that I have for you.
They get held then the guys, right?
So like she just said right there, that, again, I've hit on a DNA thing before. And again, it says, there's no DNA, this or that. Well, remember when the Franks motion was written, discovery wasn't up yet. If they had DNA, they could have held that and just gave that to them November 1st, which is a game that attorneys will play. They could have added whatever they wanted to add or held back what they wanted to. It looked like they were giving things every 2 weeks. And you've heard multiple people say it was voluminous. So they were looking at what was on them. They were ruling people out based on, people they came into contact with. But as you heard her say, they came to her house and the Patty's house and took DNA and took samples and everything like that. Shane, well, first of all, Shane said he had a bunch of relationships by 13. Well, hey, good for you, Shane. I might have had one by then. Lone wolf. Yeah, my opinion right now is he's a lone wolf killer with help after. And I don't have definitive proof. I just have a theory. If you want to message me on Discord or something, I'll tell you. But I'm not going to say it here because I don't, their names aren't even being mentioned right now. And I could be way, way off. And I don't want to do that. So, all right, on to the next little clip here. This is about the sketches.
Because I saw some people saying all to one sentence. I'm saying it
I
wasn't.
hope this sounds okay. Someone said it was lagging. I'm sorry if it is. What's up, Ruckus? I gave you a shout out before for your show tonight.
No, as far as that for sure. I've read all different things, so I want to get it from you to make sure.
There is less than a 3-second gap of the guys and down the hill in all legitimate form about the time that somebody would to greet you and you were to respond and then say down the hill is the amount of time. Hey guys, down the hill. There's not long minutes of pause. There is seconds of pause.
So it could be that the girls were responding, but they muted that part out or something.
I don't even think it was that. It might have been, as rude as it sounds, the typical teenager, huh? What? There's a brief, like I said, a half second to a second pause of the actuality between what they've said, to where they said it's not even worth messaging. Let's not care what the girls might have said in that, huh? What? Excuse me type situation. It was a legit, hey guys, and then down the hill. That was the most important part.
For the second is
So guys, what she just said there, and I'm pretty sure everyone was able to make that out and hear it good. I was looking at something else here. Yeah, Shane says about the I'm not on the thing right now to flip it back on. Sorry, no name. It's just I personally believe Alan watched one of the girls and videoed it. Yeah, well, lately the tripod thing has come out, which that's really bizarre to me. I mean, it's certainly, obviously, it's possible. It sounds like it's legitimate. Someone somewhere, and I can't remember where, I believe it was on YouTube, maybe in a comment somewhere mentioned, could someone have had a tripod there to take pictures of something else prior to the crime, like a couple of days or two before or whatever? Well, remember there was snow, then it melted. So could that have like stayed there and hardened? I don't know, but very interesting. And if you look at the tripod, the indentations that we're hearing about now, and if you look at the FBI search warrant, which is the only document that we know of that was produced so far, what the FBI believed happened in the crime. Remember, the FBI document mentions no sacrifice, no odinists, but staging. Staging. FBI says staging. It's meant to deceive, make it look like something else. So again, I'll cover the Frank's motion. The BAU supposedly said, according to Major Click, after the Frank's motion came out, said he does not believe it was odinist. He wanted to be clear on that. But he does believe that the odinists that were mentioned in the Frank's motion may have something to do with it. You know, those three goofs. So just to clarify that. Now, the BAU might come out in trial and say, yes, this was a sacrifice. I don't think that they're going to do that, but maybe they will. But for anyone to say right now that the BAU said that this was an odinist sacrifice, unless you're on the new defense team or maybe the old defense team and the prosecution right now, you cannot know that because you haven't seen the discovery. So, but again, I don't think that that's going to be the case, but we should see on that. Anyways, this is about the sketches. This next part about the sketches.
I pray this case is.
Shannon, the basic answer that we have is what we were told when we were brought in to see the second sketches. We've run this first sketch. We feel like we know who this person might be, or we've cleared up this particular person. And now we're going to look at another person that other people also noticed might have been there that day. And now we'd like to talk to that person. If you were in a bank or in a gas station, it was robbed, the 10 people in there with you are all going to see something different. None of us see the same thing in a situation. Happens a lot. So there are a lot of sketches that were put together. And then today, this one was the number one. Everybody closely resemble their person. So they ran everything they could. I'm going to say mid-April of 2019, I believe, is when that sketch came out. We had the second the sketch, and we'd already had the audio and video at that time of the different things available, and that was when this sketch came forward. And at that time, they said, we're changing directions. Now we want to see who else may have seen this person because we've talked to everybody else concerning the first person. And it was very confusing. And it was like, wait, we've put all this faith into this first sketch for all this time. This is who we thought we were looking for. And now we've changed our minds. And they're like, no, we just want to know who else was out there that day and go over this. So not a complete dismissal, but a change in direction.
So there was another one there too, which I will have to share at another time because I doubled up one of the videos. But anyways, I wanted you to see them. Now, again, could you argue that, maybe she's not being given the truth from the police for one reason or another? Sure, that's fair. That's a fair argument. But I don't think in these situations there are. So again, that video, and it's shared, there's clips shared in my community page that leads to the Discord link because I couldn't do that. So I'm going to actually have to fix that video because I have the same clip twice instead of the other one that I wanted to put in there. So get some comments here. Guys have been great on a Thursday afternoon. It's beautiful here in Pennsylvania. I got the windows open. And it's a week before Thanksgiving. That doesn't usually happen in Pittsburgh, I have to tell you. I did some work. I cleaned out a little bit under my porch. Yes, Jinx. I don't know if you were here before my last live. I cannot make it. We have a trip already planned where we're picking up my girlfriend's daughter from the middle of Pennsylvania, actually eastern Pennsylvania, near about an hour outside of Philadelphia. So if you could make it, if you could help, if you could do anything, floor. We're rallying. There's a rally happening right now. Okay, Frank, sealed documents have been unsealed. So, but they're new, they'd be new to us. So again, and I'm pretty sure, I know Frank has it on his Facebook and his community page. I'm pretty sure his community page. Right there, Shane, is Frank. True Crime with Frank Meister. Now, Art of Deduction's name is Frank too, Shane. But for the documents, yeah, True Crime with Frank Meister. Check him out. What's up, Boston Christian? Hey, Honeybee, see ya. Thanks for popping in. So maybe waiting for Supreme Court ruling. I think something I did. Frank, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't the Supreme Court rule on something on that mandamus today? And again, I'm not going to try to tell you something because I don't want to fuck it up for you because I could be wrong when it comes to the legal stuff. Letter from Baston. And if was there anything else that came out, Frank, if you could mention it. But again, go to his page. And it was all because he was dropped. I think he did 2 different drops, maybe 3 today on Facebook and on YouTube. Yeah, so we're talking about blurry face. The Mark Paul Baston. I'm pretty sure that's how to say his name after Wild Crocodile. His letter came out, but I swear I've seen that letter before. I'm positive. Basic letter from Baston whining. Yeah, his treatment. There's also did a lot of research on him when he first started talking. Ruckus is in the house. Let's check him out tonight. Always good. Shocked. If I'm not mistaken, the picture came out pretty quick, like within a couple of days, I think 2 or 3 days. But the video and the fourth word, guys, came out 6 to 8 months later, maybe. I could have that. I could be mistaken on that. But it was certainly was sometime after the video clip, the movement clip, which is a big deal. If you're talking about the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, yeah, they did have some kind of investigative involvement here. From what I understand, I don't know if it was overlooked, like fresh eyes looking at cases and tips and things like that or whatever. Yes, that's accounts confirming. Yeah. So I don't know if they're really well known. I tell you what, real quick to sidebar off to the Atlanta child murders. They're the ones that did the report. What was the number? I can't remember the number, the name of the report. It was like the 949 report, whatever it was. And it was about members of the KKK talking about killing black children. And some of the black children they talked about killing were dead. And, Luby Jeter being the one, the guy that was tied to a Klansman. So they lied about having the report. And then on the deathbed, some former he was a Klansman who was an informant for the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. He was an informant for them, and he was playing both sides of the fence. And white guy, it wasn't like the movie, the Black Klansman, which I understand it is a true story, and it's a pretty cool movie if you ever get a chance to see it. It's bizarre how it can happen, but supposedly it did. But anyways, this guy was a Klansman, and they turned him, and he on his deathbed made these confessions, and he felt these people did some of these. Well, as we know at Wayne Williams, he was never charged. No one ever really thought he did them all. Even John Douglas, who delivered the profile. So when they closed the book on all of them, it was absolute horseshit. Absolute horseshit. That certainly is possible with these new attorneys, Rock. I'm interested to see how they take it. I don't know anything about them really, other than their names. They wanted devices more than anything. Yes, that's a good point. That's a good point. I wonder, you go a couple different ways with that. I also wonder about that, Ruckus, too, if there'll be a plead out, which if there is a plead out, whether it is justified or not, the backlash is going to be crazy because all the people that think he's innocent, like they're and then you'll have the people say, well, guilty people, not guilty people don't plead to stuff. Well, actually, they do sometimes, not life in prison and not usually the double murder of 2 children, but they will plead to stuff because it looks bad or, it's just like, hey, just plead to this and you'll get time served plus a year probation or whatever, even if you didn't do it, because it might be harder to go to court and prove that you didn't do it. So, hey, it's possible, but I just think that that was just videos I was playing there. Love to hunt, and we could come back here, watch them. We're going to my community page, but there's a Discord link to it, and she doesn't do very much talking anymore. That video that I played, that's about 5 years old. Paid, I don't think personally, no. I don't think they paid. That's if you mean paid to like make a video or to make some kind of smut, possible. I don't think it is, but it's possible. A hit, no. It's absolutely 100% not a hit. Hitmen don't do this. If this was a payback for some kind of drug rip or for something, this wouldn't be, in my opinion, hits do not occur like that. This is personal, or I think a sexual sadistic killer is at the end when we put all the pieces together. And I'm guessing that's what is in the FBI profile that we've never seen, which is the one document I'd love to see in this whole case. I really, really would. Yeah, I'm loving it right now. Like I said, we usually do not get this time. Knows both Franks. Frosty, what's up, Frosty? Oh, 2019. So it was actually 2 years later. So wow, I was misspoken. Yeah. So that's even worse. That's even more bizarre. I know they said they had people working on it and stuff like that, but I can't imagine it would take that long. Huh. Yeah, that would be something to be there at that time to go through that in that community at that time, before or after the image. As far as I can tell, and I'm pretty sure on this, it was before the image came out. And then if you watch the video that I shared last time, because I think Alan talked to him, I believe it was the 14th. I think it was the day. I don't know if the girls were announced to be found yet or they were, but if I'm not mistaken. And again, it says he talked to Dolan, and Skinner somehow was involved in there. Skinner was the older guy. Skinner passed away. I think Skinner and Alan had a relationship. I think Alan, this is my personal opinion, I think Alan reached out to Skinner and said, hey, I was there that day, but you're calling a friendly cop. So if there's a crime in McKeesport that happens and Joe Schmo, Officer Joe Schmo, and something crazy happened and you don't want to appear to be guilty of it, but you want to say, hey, I want you to know that I was there. You're not just going to call the warden's desk and talk to whoever. You're going to call your buddy and say, hey, listen, I was there. And then the buddy's going to go back and say, oh, okay, I'll tell him, hey, my buddy Joe or Jimmy over here was there. He's not going to be our guy. We're doing good for it. He just wanted us to know he's there. And he wanted to tell us that he saw these girls who unequivocally saw him. That's why he mentioned him to the police. He wasn't going to lie about that, in my opinion. Do we know if they identified him as Richard Allen? People say they never identified him as Richard. We don't know that. That could be in discovery. And in discovery, they could all say, yeah, it was him, it was him, it was him after seeing his picture. It's also possible that none of them said it was him. That's also possible too, but I don't know. It wasn't mentioned. You didn't see in the Franks motion, and anything that wasn't in that Franks motion, in my opinion, because that was kind of a Hail Mary, anything that wasn't in there, it's no longer plausible unless they had not received that discovery yet. So a lot of people were saying, oh, there's no this, there's no that. Well, they didn't mention this, they didn't mention that, but maybe they didn't get it yet. So maybe to the defense to kind of defend them a little bit, they couldn't include it because they didn't know about it yet. But they're not going to include anything in there that makes him look guilty. So if you think that that's all the evidence is, then you're just mistaken. And the Liggett lied and Tobe lied. Maybe they did. If they did, fire their asses, put them in jail if they did. But what you're going to have is an attorney's interpretation of someone's speaking under oath, at a deposition. And you can look and twist that any way you want to. You're not lying. Hey, my opinion, I thought he said there was no DNA. Well, I said that there was DNA. Well, I took it as you meant this way. And that's how they're able to play that game. So for people to say that it's unequivocal that they lied in a deposition, that you can't say that yet. You can't. Now, if we have a deposition and it gets played and they say there's no DNA, then there's DNA presented in court, then they lied under deposition. The other thing that's odd is why would they lie and say that they don't have any if they know that they have some? It's odd. It's an odd claim. That's an odd claim from the defense. What info would you be talking about on Blurry Face? I could help you to it. Anthony Schott's account. Yeah, I have not killed that idea either, Chopper Harris, of Keegan Klein being involved. And I further get strung along because if you read the leaked exhibit list, the Keegan Klein Grisham Air Force Base is in the exhibit list. So why are they using an interview from Keegan Klein at Grisham Air Force Base? I'll go back and I say I don't think Keegan Klein was hands-on at all or anything like that. Nothing. I don't think he was there that day. I don't believe the red Jeep. My opinion. A peer review. Wow, that sounds interesting. Now, I've told you about Florida, and people say different things about Delphi. Well, listen, what people think, whether maybe they're true, maybe they're not, what they think are happening in Delphi, they're definitely happening in Florida. If you want to see some fucked up shit, go over there. Indianapolis Fire Department did a peer review and didn't get all the information. So that's odd. If they did a peer review and didn't get all the information, and I don't know that, or I'm not sure how you know that, but if that is true, it's bad. Yeah. I think that that's what it'll be. I really do. I think that that's what whoever's adjudicated of it. That's what people have told us. Now, there's another theory. Well, I shouldn't say theory. It is a theory because we don't know that this crime scene was cleaned up and the crime scene, something was sprayed on it. Some type of Clorox agent. I don't say Clorox, bleach, something that kills DNA that does things like that. So when they say pristine, do they mean that? Were the leaves raked, or did someone try to hide some? I don't know, but it's the evidence is yes, it's the key. So to be honest with you, like I said, I think 70%. If I had to put it on a number, I'd say Richard Allen is guilty in being hands-on involved in this crime. I mean, the killer of this crime, in my opinion. But I cannot be. How could you be 100 either way until you've seen all the evidence? You know what I mean? You have to see all the evidence. So you have to see what everyone's saying. Read the stuff that comes out. I don't know if Frank's going to talk about what came out today. Ruckus probably will a little bit more. I don't break down the legal documents that well. I'd be better off giving you a tutorial on something electronic. Something it would become off better. Well, this account, one of the big problems with Richard Allen's defense is he has no alibi. He's never even been brought up. That Frank's motion said that it was an odious sacrifice, which on its base, on its face, is a crazy claim. It's an absolutely crazy claim. If a person that doesn't follow true crime or hasn't read books about serial killers and things like that would hear an oath, are you fucking kidding me? This is happening? They'd be totally blown away by it. I wasn't blown away by it. I mean, I don't think that that's what happened, but in today's world with the access to information, it's a possibility. But the people that they allege did it, the guy whose word that they took that said, this guy said that this was an ode and a sacrifice, major click. He said, no, I don't think it was that, but I think the guys were involved. None of those guys were there that day, right? Holder, the ringleader, has an alibi on video driving his truck out of work. Could someone else has driven his truck out of work at that time? Sure. Added someone else to the conspiracy, right? Judge Gall appoints Baldwin and Rosie. Remember, she appointed them first. She gets rid of them. She didn't want these two good attorneys. That's why she got rid of them. Well, she appointed them in the first place. So I don't think she appointed them to kick them off. The two new guys, they're terrible. They're in on it, I don't think they're in on it, and I don't think they're going to go lay down for their reputation, but I don't know that either. But you're including now different counties, because remember, Judge Gall came from a different county. She was a specially assigned attorney. So whoever assigned her must have known that she was going to fuck over Richard Allen. So who assigns those? Who is it? Is it the Supreme Court? Is it the governor? Is it someone higher up? Who is it? Because now they have to be involved in this too. We know that she'll do what we want her to do. Boom, she's in there. Boom, 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 and then it ripples out and it ripples out. So you're right now. If all this is a conspiracy, you're probably at about between 30 and 40 people, maybe more, that all have to be embroiled in this. All these cops. In the same breath, some people say these cops are goofs, they're idiots, but they're part of a conspiracy. I would err a lot more to the side that some of these cops are goofs or idiots, and they've made mistakes and they fucked up, and it's incompetence, not a conspiracy. Is there too much incompetence to not be able to convict Richard Allen? Well, I certainly hope not. Because if we see a bunch of evidence and it really, really makes us think this guy's guilty, we know he's guilty, but they fuck something up somewhere along the line and he gets off technicality wise or whatever, that's could be the worst travesty of justice that can happen after losing the two girls. Next would be for him to be falsely convicted. But again, if you judge by the evidence that we've seen and you say he's not guilty, he is guilty, I think it's hard either way to judge if he's guilty or not by the evidence we've seen it to a conclusion. You can have a good idea. You could be slanted. Like I'm slanted. I told you 70%, but you cannot be 100%. Now, if we get to court and discovery comes out and everything else comes out and there's not more shit in it, there isn't a kill shot, there isn't DNA, there isn't items taken from his home that was on one list and not on another list. Like all these things are then explained away and they have the bullet and they have him putting himself there. I'm going to have to watch the trial. Then the next question, does he go on the stand? Is he a guy that you want to put on the stand or not? So I'm still open. I don't think it's an odinist, but if it is, I'm not 100% on that. I'm not 100% on anything. But again, the last odinist sacrifice that I could find is the 1200s. If someone else can find one that was an actual odinist sacrifice, let me know. I lean toward it was staged to look like that, like the FBI said, or there was some kind of thing rigged up to cover with leaves to hide the girls. And the leaves on top, as I showed you in my video, would have blocked the FLIR camera. It blocks FLIR, blocks the forward-looking infrared cameras. And I showed you one of them, like with the one we have at work. So I don't want to go too long. I did want to answer. Someone asked about where do they find information at? Boston Christian, Cindy. No, you know what, Cindy? Everything that comes out, I'm like, I never thought this would happen either, or anything would happen. Like, and then you look back and you're like, I've said that 5 or 6 times in this case, and it's, it's just an unfortunate. A guy lost his life, whether he was leaking, whatever. Yeah, you shouldn't have done it. That's a bad thing, but the penalty for that, it shouldn't be. It's not death. It's just Well, I think Boston Christian, some states don't allow it still, but when he made his statement to the officer versus when the image was released, let me see if I can. Yeah. So what you can do, I don't know. There was a site that was pretty good. I think it was pretty accurate on the timeline, that Actus Rectus. I don't know if it's still up or not, but you can look easily for the court. If you would go to YouTube or even on a Google search and look for Delphi murders, suspects picture released or something, you'll get a date. You pull up an article and it'll say February 18th, 2017. And they have a press conference or whatever there. You could look at that. Then you could go back and look at the Frank's, or not the Frank's document, but the original charging document, the PCA, where they quote Doolin's little thing. And then it says, you know, he came, it says whatever time or whatever date he came at the supermarket or whatever. And I believe that all that is in there on how that worked. And someone did a video on it, and I can't remember who it was, and they laid it all out. And I can't remember who it was, because it was also important that they pointed out that one of the witnesses, the witness that saw Richard Allen, whether she says it was Richard Allen or gave that description of him on the bridge, gave that description of how he was dressed before the picture came out. Before the picture came out. So I don't know exactly sure how long the picture came out. I'll say within 3 days, but I don't think it was right away. I don't think it was like the 15th. I think it would have been the 16th or the 17th. But if anyone knows for sure, put it in here, please. That's what I think, Shane. I think somehow, whether he might not even have known him personally and ever met him, there really might not be a link other than online, you know, Bitcoin being paid or however. It certainly is possible. People have said that too. Yeah. I would assume if he was, let's say Keegan Klein was selling accounts, passwords for fake accounts, and guys were catfishing girls, older guys, getting pictures of them, doing whatever they were doing, I could still see him checking in maybe. And one of the other things that I thought too was we talked about 2 people logging in before someone mentioned that. Could that have been Keegan Klein and Richard Allen? You know, could Keegan Klein have been trying to stop, you know, Richard Allen? Maybe he knew what he was going to do, or maybe he was just checking in to see what was happening. I don't know. The F heard of stabbings, but one of the main points was the CS was clean with chemicals. Yeah. The F tree is going to go back to, in my opinion, I don't want to name any names, but that was a disgruntled law enforcement officer, I think, who put that. Probably didn't leak the picture, maybe, but leaked the information, if you know where I'm going. You know, blurry picture was released in 2017 press conference around February 20th. RA talked to the conservation officer. 14 girls still missing. Oh, okay. So the girls, they weren't even found yet, but they could have been found, but maybe everyone didn't know they were found. Yeah. Okay. So I hope that helps you, Shane. 20th press conference, the 20th. So it was 6 days. I thought it was 3, but yeah. Okay. And then RA talked to the conservation officer. I thought it was the 14th. Yeah, I really did. I thought he went there right pretty fast. Yeah, Frank always has the doc. He's the document dude. He does shows where he explains them pretty well too, because he's read so many of them. It could be, yeah. It could be. I think that they have better. And I can't have no proof for you yet, but I think that they have better, even better, a lot better than that. And there's two pieces, but we'll see. Let me see what else I have here. I appreciate everybody coming in. We're right about in an hour. Again, if you weren't here early on, one of the things that got released was a letter from, I think his name is Mark Baston. The last name's Baston. Before you read that letter, prejudice yourself and read what he's put away for. Convicted of. So I hope nobody's championing this piece of shit, because you just, not him. Pick someone else. Now, Richard Allen isn't convicted, right? He's not convicted, so we're not going to say any of these things about him yet. If he is convicted, I'm going to say exactly what I'm saying about this guy. This guy was he's a heinous individual. So take that with a grain of salt. Also take that he asked for compassionate release because he was going to help cure COVID. So this guy's he's a string of shit that he wants to get out of jail for. And they need to lock him under the prison and just forget about him, you know. Keep getting both sides of the story. And I told you that early on. From the documents released today, you get the prosecutors, watch them. Watch the defense diaries. Watch if Frank does a show, if Ruckus does a show, because those guys just kind of read them down the middle. Then you have an argument from the defense side, an argument from the prosecution side, And you'll find everyone similarly saying the same thing, and then follow that line. That's what I try to do. But I can't speak enough about the two lawyer shows. Frank's great, the docs dude, the doc, not the docs. Better not say that. He's the document guy. And Ruckus is just great because Ruckus does what he wants, and he gives it very good insight on stuff. So check him out here in a couple hours. I'm going to check on a couple more comments. And again, if anyone has any questions, I have a Discord. I've shared it on a community page for the last couple of days. Kevlar148hotmail.com. People have sent me one or two things. People have sent me, pages of things, and I try to get back to everybody in some way, shape, or form, if possible. And if you have anything, or like I said, we were talking, hey, do you think this and that? Because I want to tell people who I'm suspicious of. I just don't want to do it publicly, because maybe they might be like, well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me send you something here. And then that's how shit like behind the scenes happens. And I think that that's really, really cool. What's up, Melissa? Would he even have to sell? Yeah. I see what you're saying. I think so too. Hey, thank you, Don Spain. I appreciate everybody coming in this account. Thank you. Chopper Harris, thank you. Shane, Frosty, Jinx, Frank Meister, Frank, Boston Christian, everybody, Cindy, Olivia. Man, you guys are awesome. I really appreciate everyone coming in, spending some Thursday time with me in the afternoon. NFL's back tonight. If you're a football guy like me, fantasy guy, I got a lot of guys on buys. So now I'm going to go pull my hair out, wink, wink, and try to find a receiver and a tight end that don't suck to play for me this week. So I appreciate you all coming in. I was glad I was able to play them videos for you. I'm going to do a better video. I did share that whole interview on my community page. It's about an hour long, maybe a little longer, maybe an hour 20. I encourage you all to listen to it. Even if you're in your car or something, it's an audio and a video. You could see her and stuff like that, but you could just listen to it. It's a great show. It's a great channel. That is Jason Herbert, True Crime. I shared his link in the comments. Mr. Grotto's the other guy with them. They do a great job asking questions. They're very sincere and they're very gentle with her, which is much appreciated, as she should be treated. And she lays it on the line, many, many things. So again, the guys in Down the Hill, she cleared that up. For my opinion, she cleared it up because she heard it. It was guys. The girls responded like, and it was Down the Hill. That's how it happened. That's according to Anna Williams, who heard the video, a mother of one of the slain girls. So, if you didn't catch it in here, go back, check it out, or check the video that I posted on YouTube. It's the Jason Herbert. I was saying Justin Herbert because I'm a football guy. I'm sticking on the quarterback. I apologize. Jason Herbert channel, and watch it. Watch the whole interview. Watch the cuts. At this time, I'd like to say tentacles like we do, and we're going to drink as I do tea in a carton, like from Western Pennsylvania, and that's how we roll. So thank you all so much. I appreciate spending some time with me, asking your questions. Keep sending me information. And as always, anything on Flora, goodness gracious, anything you got, I'd like to hear it. And some stuff going behind the scenes there. Hopefully we're going to be able to punch our way out of this gridlock we've been in with the Flora case pretty soon. So, all right, everyone. Thank you all for your time. I appreciate you all very much. Your questions and your chats. Coach Kev,